Alabama coming off a thrilling win against Mississippi State on the road in Starkville. Michael Casagrande joining me now from Tuscaloosa to go over some of Nick Saban's comments in the Monday press conference. And Alabama looking ahead to Mercer. Just first and foremost, a big week for them as they get ready for the Iron Bowl in 2 weeks. But we all know Alabama's going to keep that focus on Mercer right now. A big concern, injuries on the defensive side of the football. What are you getting from Nick Saban in terms of his confidence level in this unit?
It's going to be evolving. I think it's a big week for that in preparing and playing with Mercer, that they can get some of that chemistry going. It was something that Rashawn Evans talked about today, getting the chemistry with the other middle linebackers, was getting Keith Holcomb and Dylan Moses, just getting the familiarity with each other on the field. It's something you can practice all day, but just knowing how it's going to go in a live game situation is important. And it's going to be an evolving situation. This is something that they've never faced before in terms of having that many people hurt at the same place. So it's going to be interesting. How long you see them playing, who knows, on Saturday, because the last thing they need now is another injury at that position. But there was more talk about what the running game, what was behind Mississippi State's big numbers, and kind of Nick Saban talked about the way that they ran the ball more than what most teams would. So that would, in turn, push the numbers up higher. There weren't many long runs. They didn't bust anything longer than 12 or 13 yards. So it wasn't a case of them blowing big coverages, but it's kind of a nickel-dime situation.
Now, Mike, on the offensive side of the football, weekly honors being handed out. Jalen Hurts, Calvin Ridley amongst those as expected. But another guy, Josh Jacobs, what did Nick Saban have to say about his performance against Mississippi State?
Nick Saban's he's been very high on Josh Jacobs for quite a while. He's done everything they can to try to incorporate him in there in a backfield already full with Damian Harris and Bo Scarborough. But he probably had his best performance. He looked as good as he's looked running the ball, looked fresh, good speed coming off the edge, and can run people over. He's a guy that Nick Saban really has seemed to really enjoy watch, and he called him after the game. He said he was probably the catalyst, the spark that got the offensive revolution going, I guess, in the fourth quarter when they were able to score those 2 touchdowns. And it was his runs. They were his runs that began a lot of the big plays on offense.
Now we know Alabama focused on Mercer. The rest of the world obviously looking ahead to that Iron Bowl. I know that you got a chance to talk with the players and everybody's shutting down discussion of the Iron Bowl. But in your opinion, does this Alabama team, get some practice reps in this week in preparation for the Iron Bowl?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of maybe not necessarily doing exactly what Auburn, putting an Auburn scout team in, but they're fixing a lot of the fundamental things. Some of the issues that are coming out of the Mississippi State game, the LSU game, the things that will apply to the Auburn game. But it's not a team that's going to over-prepare. It's something they've always talked about, that they don't spend more time than they normally would on one team, because they prefer the rhythm of a game week, and when they get out of that mold is when things go wrong, and they don't want to over-prepare. But they know what's coming up, and they know what Auburn does, and they know what they need to fix to get ready for that game. So it's less than 2 weeks away. It's going to be the biggest Iron Bowl since 2013, so I'm sure it's going to be a lot of talk, but no one here will officially talk about that at all at this point. So
yeah, and the timing of that, of course, coming at a good time because of healing up, getting some of those injuries taken care of, and as you said, the fundamentals. Thank you so much for your insight. We appreciate it, as always, and for all your Alabama Crimson Tide news and analysis, you can visit us on AL.com.